This is another pump. This is actually a pump for one of our local distilleries. And when these pumps go down, they can't make whiskey, and that's ugly. Customer's issue was their main river water pumps, which they have 5 of them. They were only lasting 3 months in service. Okay, and you'll see the reason why as we go through here. These pumps, that's just they're Gould's pumps. That's just one of the nameplates of it. We actually put these pumps in for them. Took some old ones out. Now, this is one of the oldest distilleries in the Lexington area. It's actually in Frankfort. These pumps they just kind of hang off the end of the distillery in a wooden pump house. Okay? They've been using that ever since it was built. And this is just, they're 75 horsepower motors. They're 150 gallon a minute pumps. They're 2-stage vertical turbine pumps. We have an overhead chain fall. This one's electric, so we don't have to sit there and pull on it. But we have to open up the hatch so we can drop that down in there. That has to be moved to different hatches to pull the different pumps. These pumps, they're on 2 levels as well. We've got 2 on the upper level and 3 on the lower level. And that's just for spacing. That's the switchgear for 2 of the pumps. And then, of course, they go into a common header and then out.
This pump's on the river again?
Yes. Yeah, what a lot of people don't realize that
Unbelievable.
what people don't realize is that for bourbon to be called Kentucky bourbon, the water has to come out of the Kentucky River or one of its tributaries. It's state law.
That's funny.
They can't use city water. It has to be raw water coming out of the river. And I got news for you. That river gets pretty
well
nasty.
water. You said river water.
I said raw river water.
Oh my God.
And this one used to have a spring right there, right?
Used to.
Spring that they used to pull the
Yeah, but
big.
now they need so much water that
Unbelievable.
they put these in. Another thing about it, they've done, we had a very good presentation this morning on maintenance and this kind of stuff. They do terrible maintenance on their caisson. And this has been brought up to them, guys, you can prevent a lot of these problems just by, cleaning some of the trash out. But they say, nah, we don't have time for all that. We need to make whiskey. In distilleries, the people that drive are the main distiller. Maintenance is down here. When it's broke, you get out there and fix it. All right, got the motor out of the way. We're starting to come out of the hole with the pump. And you can see, I should have brought a laser pointer. You can see right around this bearing, that's silt that's laying there. And what they do, these pumps don't run all the time. They run them, they fill up tanks, or they switch around, they go through boilers, and they run them for a little bit and then they shut them down. So where this distillery is located is in really about the sandiest and siltiest part of the Kentucky River. Because right upstream, they have a large operation that's taking sand out of the river. And so, of course, it floats down and goes into these pumps. There again, just looking down the columns and down the line shaft. There again, you've got water. You're pumpage, which is water, raw water, out of the river. It's your lubrication for your bearings. And you can see, you got rust, you got silt and sand just sitting there. That's just a picture of one of the columns that we're picking up. There again, this is one of the bowls. You can see all the sand here. Also, you can see it's around that bronze bearing. Another thing we have is zebra mussels. And those things get in pumps and they will just tear them up. That's 3 months running. All right, I've mentioned that they don't do very good maintenance on their caisson. Every now and then you get a little bit of trash in your pump. All right, that tends to clog things up.
That sounds too efficient.
No.
Adds to the flavor of the bourbon, you know. Give it that woodsy stuff.
Yeah, there you go. Also, that can be bad when you get a stick caught in it.
These are also slow speed?
1800.
These are 18.
Yes, sir. All right. The trash screen had failed on this, and of course sucked that in there. You can see here also
Yeah.
where it's eroded from the pumping the sand. That's real bad. Now that stick actually worked itself around where it locked that pump up when it was running and snapped the shaft. That's an 1 3/16 shaft. It just twisted it off. That's the trash screen. It was just gone. Now another pump that we brought in, same type pump, it had a big chunk of plastic in it. We're looking at that and we said, well, that's not good. This actually broke a shaft also. And it also broke the bottom of the suction belt. There used to be a bearing in there. All right, you can see the bowl bearing that's down in there. It was a bronze bearing, and this is the pump that had all the trash in it. So you can see that bearing is pretty well damaged. This can happen as well when the bearings go bad. Now, working with the pump manufacturer's engineering, we identified problems with the equipment. And so we talked them into, the original impellers were bronze. Okay, with what they're pumping, it erodes that bronze terribly. We went to a stainless steel. Now, the one thing that happened when we went to the stainless steel, the pump manufacturer missed their calculations. And that 75 horse motor, because they put them the same diameter as the bronze, and we were actually having to use 143 horsepower to drive it. All right, we had to pull the pump out, and actually we took the entire pump and sent it back to the manufacturer, because we did the calculations on it. And we said we need to take it from 9 1/8 down to 8 7/8 diameter. And they didn't believe us. And they actually tested the pump. And after about 1.5 months, they came back and said, yeah, you're right. Now, as I said, we used the bearing calculator from Vesconite's site. Calculates all the correct clearances for us. We have actually worked with Vesconite's engineers, and they actually had to make a little tweak to it because we wanted to close that clearance down a little bit. We cool the bearings with dry ice, just drop them in the housings. The calculation also gives it recommends to cool it, but if you can't, it gives you how much pressure you need to put on it to push it in. And it's generally about 800 to 900 pounds of pressure to force one of these bearings in. So we always go get some dry ice, and cool it down. It takes about 5 minutes to cool it down, and they just drop in. Bronze bowl bearings, 3 months of running. Cost the customer a lot of money to pull these out. That's a Vesconite bearing that we put in after 13 months of running. You can see there's very little wear. and we replaced it just because we had it out. There again, you see that they haven't done very good. You still got a lot of sand going through it. There again, it's just another closer picture, 13 months. This is reinstalling the pump after it's been totally reconditioned, rebuilt, new basket. This pump had to have new wear rings put on it as well, plus all new bearings. Now, remember, we put stainless steel impellers in it and increased the efficiency and gave a much more durable material. Plus we used the Vesconite bearings, increased the pump efficiency, plus increased the wear resistance. Increased the mean time between repair from 3 months to 13 months. Very substantial reduction in the end user's repair budget. And there again, they want these pumps running so they can make whiskey. That's what they do.
The nice thing is they have shutdowns every year. They go in and do it
Yep.
on schedule.
Yeah, one thing that we did talk them into is cleaning their caisson out. We want them to clean it every 3 months, but they don't. They clean it out every 6 months. That helps a little bit as well. Any questions?
You guys don't have a way to recycle the Vesconite?
Not really. As I said, you know, when we're machining, one of my technicians takes it home and lets his animals sleep on it. He says it's great.
Do you guys do any checks on registered fits from columns to pole, or anything like that? Your male and female registers.
We do on the bowls because we don't want those leaking. As far as the columns, excuse me, we make sure that everything's good and flat. Run a hone over them when we're reinstalling.
Probably not too many people do all that, you're saying. Not too many.
Hopefully not.
Pardon?
Hopefully not. Hopefully they come
Not
to
too many
us.
competitors.